I'm going to be honest. I think I'm going to say this in a perspective that you're not going to understand clearly right now, brother, but I am glad that you went through all the pain and suffering that you did. You're not going to understand this. You're going to think I'm trying to be negative or I'm trying to be weird or I'm trying to be like, oh, I'm glad you went through this. Like, that was so bad for you and like I'm preying on your downfall type shit. Like, no. Here's why. Ever since I was younger, right? And this would basically sum up my story because I know a lot of you wanted to know that. It's like I've always been a very, very, I guess, lonely kid. I was very much what I called the nomad in all my school years. I would basically travel from group to group and kind of wanted each group's validation because I didn't really fit in and things like that. Like the typical story you hear about, right? But I was actually that kid. Like I had friends that I called friends, but would shut me out when their groups would be there and they'd be laughing at me and shit. And like the people I really considered friends were the ones I'd have to listen to, but they wouldn't listen to me at all or even care to. And my friends left me as over so much so at over some digital number. What do I mean by that? You know how video games have competitive systems that have ranks and they have numbers, right? They would literally stop playing with me completely because I was not their rank. Think about how sad that is. You actually lived with these people and you would talk with them. And I still talk to them. I continued to talk to people that would leave me out of these groups and literally kick me out. And I continued, like, I had no respect for myself. That was the online scene. So I went through that online, and then I talked to those same people in school, laughed with them, things like that. I had no respect for myself, and I hadn't built myself up back then either. No confidence, no nothing. Some of the people I had asked out back in high school, like I could literally hear them and see them literally stare at me and laugh at me. The shit that does to your mind is crazy. All these years people would make terrorist jokes and shit like that I just tried to find funny self-deprecating humor. Now there's actually people now like that I have on my console and stuff that I find fully with love. I consider them brothers and we make jokes like that because we're friends, okay? Like that is, we make jokes that are like cancelable on a wide scale, okay? Like the FBI is not happy with us, okay? But those are actually friends, people I consider brothers. Like I have a lot of fun with them. I actually have fun with them. I think you can actually have fun. These were people that were not my friends back then. Not even fucking close. Not even close. And I would just laugh, like self-deprecating humor because like, oh, like whatever, dude. And I'm not trying to act like I'm this like oppressed individual, even though back then that was my mindset. I was like, oh dude, I like, I'm going through so much and shit like that. And there's like I didn't have a solid friend group. I didn't have any experiences with female like most high schoolers did, things like that. I was always kind of doing my thing on my own. Here and there I had some good friends, I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't all like bad. It wasn't all like all like I'm hurt, like it wasn't all like, and it was your fault but mine. It wasn't all that, all right? It was not. It was a lot of it was good, but I went through a lot of bad shit basically. Like things that were not necessarily hardcore like a heartbreak, but it was more of like a slow pain of loneliness and solitude, a slow pain of quiet desperation. I would spend days in hot showers and drink warm tea like this, things like that to make myself feel better because everything literally just felt so cold. And I know that how emo that sounds and things like that, but like when you go through it, bro, it like I'm not saying this because I want to. I'm saying this because when you go through that, it does not feel good and you want no one else to be there, you know. College, same thing, but this time I had a lot more people that, you know, I was friends with, but also a lot of people that hated me and didn't like me, and that was for good reasons. They taught me a good lesson. But also same thing in college. Some of the females I talked to then were like completely ignored and stuff like that. And I was like, bro, what is happening? Like, why can't I just talk to a human being and talk to them like be a human being about it, and just like actually, connect and have a conversation. and and it sucks, because you're just trying to learn the world around you. You're just trying to be better, for whether it is like a partner in the future, or whether it's like trying to just have better friends and stuff like that. And then you realize, bro, you come to a point and you just realize, bro, and this is going to sound very rude or hateful, I don't care, bro, but you were surrounded by utter losers. People that were going through the same shit as you. Some of them were going through the same things, which sucks, which is painful, okay? You wish you could help them. You wish they would also make it out because they're in your same scenario. But some of them were actually losers, bro. Like, these people were actively people who preyed upon your downfall and shit, never wanted you to be around other, great people, would say crazy shit about you. I didn't even know these people like this could exist. Like, even till now, the better I get, I'm like, I can't fathom that these people exist. And some of you might feel the same, but they do. And how do I know this? Because I became that same kind of person after realizing, like, I'd garnered a lot of hate after realizing what I'd really went through. And some of it was my fault too, because I was a nice guy and things like that. But it was like, I'm just telling you the whole shit show story of what I went through. I even have evidence of drawings that I'll be able to show once I'm back in the U.S. that were not pictures of someone who was drawings of someone who was mentally healthy, like, whatsoever. Like, you would look at this and be like, oh, what is going on? And so I just want to tell you, like, I went through a slow pain, nothing like crazy that was like an epoch that would change my life completely, but I went through that for years and years and years. Basically, the top half of middle school all the way up till college. So a good amount of my years, and I just stayed quiet about it. But what I learned was immense. I learned that, like, because I went through all that bad stuff, bro, and I can get into more detail with that in other videos that are more specific to, like, the topic, maybe like loneliness, maybe like, women, stuff like that, like different topics, right? But I just gave you a general idea. I realized that this was actually a gift given to me, because and I know that that's not going to make any sense, and it sounds like some spiritual motivational BS that you hear in like movies or things like that, but it's like, no. When you go through something like that, you become desperate to get out. And when you become desperate to get out, you're like, I need to learn how to get through this. And then you develop systems in which it's not that you want to get out, you have to. It is a must. You cannot stay there. Some of you won't know what that means. And that's fine, because some of you were those people that, had it a lot, maybe easier. But I say that even now, and I'm like, well, you can't really quantify what easier means, because I think you have a different kind of hard in life. I don't think it's one person has it easier than another. It's like we all have a different type of difficult, right? And when you really think about it, that's the thing that makes the most sense. That's the mindset that makes the most sense. And it's like, I went through all that. It was very, very, very painful for me. But out came this guy. Like, that's crazy. Like, I made so much progress that I'm a completely different person now. I went to the gym. I still go to the gym. I meditate. I work on my mental health. And I'm just 20, bro. I'm literally just 20. And I know you shouldn't really be comparing yourselves to other people, but, like, my growth has been truly exponential, like, compared to a lot of kids my age, compared to a lot of them. And I don't consider myself someone who's wise. I just consider myself as someone who has perspectives and things like that. And, people tell me they think I know a lot and stuff like that, which I still don't like saying. I still don't like hearing that all the time, even though it's flattering. Like, don't get me wrong, it's like I'm not gonna like down them about that. It's like a compliment, and I'm gonna accept it. But I've only become this way because I've been able to learn a lot from my mistakes because I literally had to. Like that's what it seemed like. It was the only way to get out of the loop. And the loop is basically what I consider is like the cycle of what you keep going through and you keep going through and you keep going through, and it's keeping you down and down and down and down, and you just can't take it anymore, bro. So you just have to. You just have to get out. You have to do it some way, and you don't care what. You're just going to do it. You're literally forced to, pretty much. And it feels rough at the time. It feels even worse because you know what happens. It's like in that moment you don't have that mindset of thinking, oh, this is a blessing in disguise. In that mindset you have like, I've already been through all this hard shit, all this suffering and pain, and now you're telling me I have to go through more to transform myself into something that's better. It's like, that doesn't make any sense at the moment in time, right? It's like, you're not making any sense. I've been put through all this just to be put through even more to make myself better. And then you realize like the blessing in that is like you had to be forced to that point so that your mind finally learns to be able to adapt in a way that will allow you to escape such things. But to allow you to adapt to escape such things is also having to put in the work, right, to be able to get to a state where you're not in that loop anymore and you're not down bad anymore. And when people think down bad, they think I'm talking about like lowering your Tinder standard dates or whatever. Like, oh wow, that didn't make sense. Hold up. Lowering your standards on like a Tinder date or something. It's like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like, just being in a really bad point of your life and things like that. So, bro, the things I see out here, I just see two pigeons making out. Like, what even is that? But okay, I get distracted. Hold up. Like, what is happening? But anyway, yeah, and it's okay if you don't realize that. It's okay if you think I'm talking about a bunch of motivational mumbo jumbo BS right now. It's okay. I completely and utterly agree with you and believe. I don't agree with you, but I believe you and I think that too, because I thought that too when I was at that stage. I was like, you're kidding me, right? There's no way, right? Like, you're telling me I have to put in the pain to go to the gym, put in the pain to learn this, learn that, do this, do that. It's like, why can't the world just like pity me and give me what I want? It's like, no, that's not the way the world works, because at that time you think, oh, I need anything but competition. I just want, like, you make up scenarios in your mind and you're like, I just need people to feel sorry and pity me. Like, it's saying it out loud sounds like that's not the case, but when you think of it in your mind, that's what your scenarios are thinking. You have an audience to people who see your suffering, and that's what you want them to see, so that they feel sorry for you to some degree or some manner and allow you, passage into their life in some manner, whether it be a partner or friends group and things like that, and you finally gain their respect. But the only way you gain their respect is not by appealing to the pity version and the pity side of you. It's like you appeal to the version of you that wants to get out of that and become stronger and better, because now that you've had that struggle, it's like, okay, you're being tested. If you've gone through that struggle, how are you going to get out of it? And once you learn to get out of it, not once you learn to get out of it, once you cultivate the toolkits and have the mental fortitude and the strength to keep going and be relentless and get out of that, it's like, that's when you're given that respect, because that is something not a lot of people can do. And then that's when you become deserving of the things that not a lot of people have, if that makes sense, right? So I get it. If you don't think like this right now, I get it. I was at that point too, but you have to be able to go through it in that point in life to be able to think the way I might do. But hopefully this perspective also helps shine some light into why I think it's perfectly fine to have not lived the teenage years or the childhood that everybody else dreams of in these movies and in these shows and things like that, because it doesn't all happen all like that. Like, we think we're going through some sort of FOMO, but we can see it as some sort of transformation at one point too. Like all this is necessary for your growth. It's just like the gym. Like literally think of it as a physical depiction of the gym. It's like you put your muscles through pain so that they literally break, kind of like how you're breaking in the stress and the pressure of what you're going through. So then you can, and then the world's like giving you the opportunity to be like, okay, do you deserve like this protein shake that'll help you build up your muscles back again? Do you deserve that? Like, so you almost ran out of battery there. But again, do you deserve that? So you're tested on your ability to like drink that protein shake, because that protein shake isn't easy to drink either. You know, it's like it doesn't particularly taste good, but you know, you went through all that pain and now you're like, damn, I gotta drink the protein shake too just to make my muscles grow. It's like, yeah, that's what separates you from the people, you know, who won't do it. And because you're the one, you know, taking action on it. Everybody wants it. Everybody has the same goals, but they're not willing to take action on it. So you can kind of see like how that that kind of relates as well. So um, yeah, I made that analogy because I can't completely underpin like the overlying philosophy, but like it all feels like it's the same. Like you have to go through the suffering and the pain in order to grow. Like that's where that comes from. That's why it seems so cliche, so basic, and you can't understand it. It's like when you lay out the scenario like I just did, it makes a lot more sense, right? So yeah, be grateful that you're down bad, even if it may not seem like it in the moment, right? So I think that's important to realize. And once you've realized that and you're going through what it is, and you finally try to gain the mental fortitude of going through that, you'll realize you'll come out a lot wiser, a lot better, and you'll make a lot better decisions. So just keep going through it, bro. Keep powering through it, and eventually I definitely do believe you'll be able to cultivate a mindset like this and just think of that down bad period as something that was actually truly a blessing in disguise. But that's all I got for you, brother. Peace. Take it easy.